We have a keynote. Up next, we welcome Mr. Jasbir Juneja, Director and Partner, Red Sea Strategy Consulting, to deliver his keynote address. Let's welcome him all together, everyone. Talia, talia, talia. Thank you.
Thank you all. My name is Jasbir Juneja. I'm here representing Red Sea. And I'm not gonna talk about anything that you probably have not heard through the day. And even going back, right? We already know that this is happening, this is coming, right? A very specific use case of how we see AI in consumer tech, right? We can be wary about it, scared about it, that a machine knows that I wear blue shirts, right? But this is happening, right? And I'm gonna talk about to what extent we can probably expect this in very near future. Now this is, and forget about the name of the companies as such, right? But this is how things may have evolved in India, right? 2007, 8, right? We are still a consumer, right? Who's used to what is called a general trade. We walk up to a store, we say we want washing powder, right? And then there is a human standing behind the counter who has serviced me for multiple years. He knows that I'll take a Rin or a Surf Excel or whatever, right? That was getting transposed to modern trade, right? That I can actually walk into a store, a Reliance or a Aditya Birla or whatever, and I was staring at aisles full of stuff, just probably comparing prices, right? As a consumer, I was just comparing prices. And now suddenly I've moved into e-commerce, right? Where there's just endless, right? Or dikhao, right? That is what Amazon came up with, right? There was just endless SKUs of products, right? And I have no way of figuring out what I wanted to buy, right? Very soon it became some recommendations, right? These recommendations look like, oh, you are from Maharashtra, you are from Bangalore, right? Maybe you are from Delhi, winter is just starting, right? Maybe heater is what you're interested in. Maybe warm clothes is what you're interested in, right? There were these general rules which were being set up in that entire e-commerce thing, right? But a manual intervention was required to set up those rules. There were folks who were smarter, who would say, oh, Avengers movie is coming up, so Avengers merchandise is gonna pick up. So let me start showing you Avengers merchandise, right? But there were still rules, and then there was a human intervention which was required to push that recommendation, right? It became some sort of machine learning. Did I actually click on that ad? Did I actually, buy that, right? And then the machine learned that, oh, this guy is probably actually interested in Avengers or something, right? So then the machine started learning. And then suddenly we are in a Gen AI powered system, right? Now there are chatbots, right? The chatbots who can mimic a human interaction, right? English, of course, right? In English, they are very good at it. And again, we were discussing, right? Put in an example of Nykaa, right? But Lenskart would have been an equal example, right? There is a system where an AI who can dress me up, who can figure out that this sort of glasses, this dress sense would look better on me, right? And we are moving towards that. And we kind of briefly talked about it, right? There was in the offline commerce, right? Whether it was the so-called general trade, where somebody who was servicing me for years knew that I'm going to buy a certain brand of of toothpaste or washing powder, right? It became online retail, and now it is getting shifted to AI-led, right? That earlier a human was required. Even we have walked into modern trade stores, right, where a human would be sitting there, standing there, and pushing us, कि sir ये वाला try करके देखो, right? Whether it is something to eat, whether it is something to try, a human was pushing this, right? Now suddenly we'll have AI pushing us stuff. And again, like the list is far longer, and maybe a whole lot of us would have seen it, would probably, right, have certain use cases for it. But when we start looking at just for the e-commerce bit, maybe the back-end processes are getting, reinvented by AI. Maybe part of it is content creation, right? Where the whole lot of people who were, before listing a product, they had to take images of it, they had to write enough about it, right, and then list it. Now AI would do it. You just have to give it some key buzzwords. The AI is just gonna list it for you, right? That human to be able to write for a day or something, right? Again, people in the industry who have been paying 1,500 rupees, 2,000 rupees to just list one product, right? Now suddenly gets done within nanoseconds, right? Customer engagement, okay? Again, like chatbots, right? And think of the chatbot to an extent where customer support gets outsourced to AI, right? I have a problem, right? I use something called Milk Basket here in Gurgaon, right? Fresh vegetable, a tray of eggs comes in, and 1 or 2 eggs are broken, right? What is my recourse? I'll call somebody, right? But now there is a AI bot sitting in there. AI bot says, just take a picture, send it to me. And the AI bot is smart enough to be able to count that only 2 eggs were broken. So it's going to refund me money for 2 eggs. No human intervention required, right? I am fairly happy that, let's say, my issue was resolved within seconds, right? So the customer engagement has reached to that level, right? And even for a user, right? Even as a consumer, we are also trying to figure out new ways of using AI, of being able to do things with AI, including writing reviews, right? Now, start thinking about, if you had a platform, if you were selling something online, how would you go about it? How would people figure out how to find you, right? Again, think about the user who's now going chat GPT for everything, right? How far are the days when I'm gonna ask a Gen AI that just find me a pink shirt, linen, size 42, right? Just find me. And this bot is gonna, this agent is gonna point me to some listing on either Myntra or Shopify which matches what I'm saying, right? How far are those days? They are not, right? So the discovery itself is gonna change drastically, right? And the platforms which are not using it, which do not have an agent, which are not searchable by these models, right? Which are not using an agent to let them figure out that, oh, this is available here on my platform, are gonna lose out, right? And you have to imagine, from discovery to comparison to purchase to post-purchase, there would be enough of these examples on what can an agent do, right? And whatever we are saying that agent can do, it is already doing it. A whole lot of, and again, this room would have interacted with startups in this setup, right? But you'll suddenly see that say these startups made for India, for Indian problems, right? They're getting funded, they're solving, LLMs in Indian languages, right? They're actually solving everything, right? Bunch of these listed here just for the argument that money is being pumped in to be able to solve that unique Indian problem, right? We were saying that, oh, it was for, these models were built in Bay Area, right? They are not going to be able to solve anything for me. But now suddenly you say, you'll have somebody who speaks English, right? And there would be a model who can mimic a English also, right? You'll throw in a Marathi word, the model is going to understand the Marathi word, right? And it is not, right? And again, the argument is that it may appear that this machine learning is probably more in setups which are selling you something, in e-commerce, but they are everywhere, right? In a fintech model I use, in a health tech model I use, in edtech I use. I've just named a bunch of companies, but all of them are using AI to get you to transact more, to be able to get you to hold your attention for a little bit longer, right? To be able to track if you're in an edtech model, to be able to just track your model, but that whether you were really listening or not, right? But where are we, right? Majority of the businesses are still here. We are in a passive commerce mode, which is still that, oh, I'm going to do a performance marketing, right? A human is going to come in searching for something, they'll find it, they'll purchase, they'll go, right? The leaders have already gone to a conversational discovery, right? A pink shirt, size 42, linen, right? They've actually moved on to that. Not just a rule-based like recommendation engine. This is actually an AI, an agent searching through these stuff, right? Giving you a proper thing, right? And soon enough, we'll have agents talking to each other, right? You are gonna give a task to an agent to be able to find that pink shirt for you, and then there's gonna be an agent sitting on, let's say, e-commerce website like Flipkart as well, trying to figure out what this agent is saying and then help you find it, right? And this agent to agent interaction, you talk to anybody across, right? It is just 18 months away. We are like in that earshot that in English, in Hindi, in English, right? At least in all of these languages, right? We are just 18 months away from that scenario where an agent is going to talk to an agent and help you figure out things. And as a consumer again, right? Think about, we are probably still in, well, we are playing around with things. That can AI help me, right? Is AI actually helping me make that better decision? And then when that agent does point out that, oh, this particular choice is okay for you, right? Can I start trusting that, right? As a consumer, we are still playing with things, and that models are getting smarter and better by the day for them to be able to really figure out what my real tastes are, and if I keep using them, right, I'll start trusting that AI model as well, right? And India is placed to be able to do it well, right? We have all sorts of digital means that this agent to agent interaction would be successful, right? A unique talent pool, okay? I recall stories pre-COVID that, we'll talk about how maybe a TikTok, right? Remember how TikTok used to be very addictive, and whatever the replacements of TikTok that came in didn't quite pick up in India, right? And we were all blaming it on the recommendation engine because of the talent pool, right? The tech talent which was required to be able to create that, right? Now suddenly we do have the tech talent as well, and because these are going to be based on LLM, we're going to have unique LLMs based on India. We'll have recommendation engines, right, which are much smarter, right? And of course, the policy-wise, whatever we have seen from the government is trying to use pro AI, right? This is pro AI policy, right? And what is the future looking like, right? It's not too far that you're gonna say that, oh, I have something in my throat, right? I feel something in my throat, right? And these agents, they're gonna book you an appointment, right? Make sure that you reach there, order your prescription, and then make sure you're getting your prescription, right? It's almost happening, right? And that is where things will go. Now, as an action item, what, let's say from the RedSeer standpoint, from the firm I'm representing, what I would want you to think about is for your own firm, for your own organization, what is maybe a 3-5 year goal that you want to set up on how you yourself sees AI, right? Whether an upskilling is required, right? How do you move to a frictionless, personalized purchase experience for your consumer, right? And then, right, again, the recommendations, right, is something that the consumer would trust, right? Maybe something on those lines, right? That is what we would want you to take away, right? I'll be here, happy to talk about more and discuss, if anybody has any queries or questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Please stay. I kindly request Shubhamoy sir to please join us and felicitate sir with the token of respect. Thank you so much, sir, for that wonderful session. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.